Hello everyone, this is Anis with you. Welcome to my channel. In this ASP.NET Core tutorial, we will see how to create CRUD operations using Entity Framework Core in Database First Approach. Database First Approach means we design our database tables first and then we start building the project. Code First Approach means we start coding our project first, in the sense we create models, user interface pages, controllers, DAL layers and whatever etc. Then we create the database. This approach is now becoming very popular and the developers started loving this approach because it is easy and fast. Now the question is, why do we need database first approach? Because Entity Framework Core has given a very good methodology called Code First Approach. Database first approach is the traditional methodology which is being used by the programmers from long time. Database first approach solves many issues in the database level itself, and it helps to finalize most of the objectives of the project in the database level itself. Because many times we may need to work on the existing database to add features to the existing program, for which we don't have the source code, but the program is running so stable. Let's see the demo of the application which was created by Database First Approach using Entity Framework Core. This application was developed to maintain our customers' database. As of now, the existing system was having only the customer names, but we want to collect the phone number and email ID of the customers. So we added these two fields to the existing database and converted this as the main program to collect the customer data. This table has over 14,000 records. So I have also added pagination for this application. Let's edit a record. When we try to save without entering the phone number and email, the record is not saved. The client side jQuery validations are also working fine. After entering the phone number and email, the record is saved successfully. Now click the details button. Details action is also working fine. Then click the delete button. It prompts a confirmation page for deletion. Once we confirm, it deletes the record. Then click create link. Then enter the required details and click the create button. The record is saved now. That's it. All the operations of the CRUD are working fine. Let's see how the application is created from the scratch. Before I start, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. I am taking lot of efforts and spending lot of time to make all these videos. In return, I request you to subscribe to this channel. So please subscribe and share this video. Thank you. Okay, let's continue the video now. I have created a database named DBFirst CRUD. This database has three tables: categories, products and customers. The categories table has 6 rows with 2 columns. The CT code column is the primary key. Then come to the product table. In this table, the category is the foreign key from the categories table, and this table has 67 records in it. Next is customer table. This table has 4 columns, in which the customer ID column is the primary key and the other columns are first name, last name and photo URL. Let's right click this table, select the top 1000 rows. I think this table has more than 1000 rows. Let's remove the top 1000 keyword and rerun the query. Wow, this has 14,000 plus records in it. This is more than enough to do our database CRUD project. Let's do our project from the scratch. Start Visual Studio 2019. Click create a new project. Then select ASP.NET Core Web Application and click Next. Give the project name as DBFirst CRUD. Give the project location to save as D drive/DBFirst CRUD and click Create. Select project template as Web Application with Model View Controller. Select Enable Razor Runtime and then click Create. Our project creation scaffolding task is completed now. Then go to the Manage NuGet Packages for Solution. Click Browse and then Enter EFCore for SQL Server in the search box and hit enter. Select Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.SQL Server. Select our project and select the latest stable version, then click install. Give OK if you are prompted with Preview Changes dialog box. Click I accept in the license agreement dialog box. Whether we use database first or code first, we must install the Entity Framework Core tools. Search EFCore for tools in NuGet Package Manager for solutions and select Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.Tools and click install. Give OK if you are prompted with Preview Changes dialog box. Click I accept in the license agreement dialog box. Now Entity Framework Core and Entity Framework Core tools are installed in our project. So we are ready to go for the DBFirst approach. In Database First approach, first and foremost we need to create the models from the tables of the database. We can create models for all the tables in one command, or we can create models for the selected tables. To create models from the tables, Entity Framework Core has provided a great command with many parameters in it. We will see one by one. The command name is Scaffold-DbContext. Let's see how to use this command. First, I am going to scaffold the tables with the mandatory parameters. Go to the Package Manager console and type the command as shown. The first parameter is provider. Here we need to pass the database provider name. Since we want to connect to the SQL Server database, we set this parameter to Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.SQL Server. Then the second parameter is connection string. I have provided the connection string to connect to my local database. That's it. This is enough to scaffold the tables from the database. Let's run the command. Now the command is completed successfully. It has created all the models and DBContext class. Let's open the Solution Explorer and we'll see the models created by the Scaffold-DbContext command. First is the category model. Open the category model class and view the scaffolded properties. Yes, it is matching with the table. Second is customer table. It is also proper. The third is DBContext and fourth is product. Okay, all tables are scaffolded properly. Now open the DBFirst CRUD context. Notice that the DB set properties for the tables, categories, customers and products are created. And also notice our table names are in plural form like categories, products, customers. But EFCore has created the model names in singular form as category, customer, product. EFCore is very smart. But if you don't want to singularize the product table names, there is an option to omit singularize. Then EFCore has added the onConfiguring overridden method and saved the connection string which we passed in the Scaffold-DbContext command. This is not advisable. We need to delete this and save our connection string up in the app settings.json. We will do that later. For now, just ignore this. EFCore has also created a overridden method on model creating, and it has written a bunch of Fluent API commands. We don't need to concentrate on this Fluent API commands now. Maybe in the future I will create a detailed video on it if I get more requests in the comment section. For now, please ignore it. If you notice here, the DBContext class and models are scaffolded to the project root folder, which is not the best practice. Model should be in the models folder. So let's delete the DBContext class and all the models created by the Scaffold-DbContext command. We will rerun the Scaffold-DbContext command, but this time we will pass the parameter output dir with a value as models. So this time all our models will be scaffolded to the models directory. Let's check the models folder. Yes, we can see all the models and DBContext file created inside the models folder. Actually, still our approach has drawbacks. We should not keep models and DBContext file in the same directory. So we will delete all the models and DBContext file and we will scaffold again. Don't get bored by seeing the same command again and again, because the command Scaffold-DbContext is very important if you are going to do a project in database first approach. So make sure you understand this command completely. This time I am going to add a new parameter to this command. The parameter name is context_dir and we pass the value data. So now our DBContext will be created inside the data folder and all the models will be created inside the models folder. Let's run this command and verify it. Open the customer model. Notice there is no validation attributes in the property heads. Without the validation attributes, our user interface page cannot do client-side validations. We missed an important parameter while running the Scaffold-DbContext command. So we will delete the models and DBContext file again. This is the last time, no more deletion. This time we have added the attribute data annotations to the Scaffold-DbContext command. Let's rerun the command. Now the command is completed successfully. Open the customer model. This time it has generated all the client-side validator attributes. That's great. We are half done. Let's create the views for the model. Create a folder named as customer inside the views folder. We will keep all the views related to the customer model in this folder. Right click the customer folder and click add. Then click view. Then select razor view. Then give the name to view as index and leave the template to list. Select the customer model in the model class dropdown and then select DBFirst context in the data context class dropdown. Now click add. The customer list view creation is completed. Let's create customer controller. For that, select the controllers folder. Right click and click add and then click controller menu. Select MVC controller empty and click add. Change the file name to customercontroller.cs and click add. Now add a private read-only variable of type DBFirstContext and name it as _context. Type CTOR and press tab button 2 times to create the constructor. Add a parameter of type DBFirstContext and name it as context. Assign this context parameter to our private read-only variable _context. Then in the index method, declare a generic list of type customer and name that list as customers, and then populate the customer details from the database to this list. Then return this list with the returning view. Now open the _layouts.cs HTML partial view and copy the navbar link item of home and then paste it below as shown. Then change the ASP-controller and the link text to customer as shown. Now we need to add the DBFirst CRUD context to the service collections. So open the startup.cs and include the DBFirst CRUD.data to the using section as shown. Locate the configure services method and add the service.addDBContext as shown in the screen. This is very important line. Notice we have not included any connection string in the services.addDBContext because already the connection string is added by the Scaffold-DbContext command. We will see that later. Now run the project and click the customers menu. All the customers details are loaded. This customer table has at least 14,000 plus records. Not a good idea to load all at a time. All our customers' photos are fake and these photos are taken from pixabay.com. Pixabay is a free image providing website. Since our customer table has over 14,000 records, we must add the pagination bar to our customers listing grid. I am going to borrow this paging bar from my CodeSimpleCrud project. This is that project. If you are following on this channel, you might have watched this pagination bar video. But if you are new to this channel, no worries, welcome on board. I will have the link of the pagination bar video in the description. Please watch it. Let's create the empty pager model class inside the models folder. Then I have copied the pager model class from the CodeSimpleCrud project. I recommend you to watch the pagination video for the explanation of the pager model. In case if you need only the pagination code, I am showing the complete code here. But please watch that pagination video also when you get time. By the way, why not subscribe to this channel? I am going to put lot of videos with complete new concepts and easiest way of doing things. If you are still not convinced to subscribe, no worries, I will wait. Okay, let's go back to the project. I hope you copied already. To support paging, we need to slightly modify the index method of the customer controller. We have added an optional parameter named PG and set it to default value of 1. Then we declared a constant named page size and assign value of 10 to it. We find the number of records in the customer table and assign it to the recs count variable. Then we create the pager class, and then we need to find the number of records to skip. After that, we fetch only the required number of records for that page. Then we assign the pager to the viewback. Now return only the customers list containing only the customers of the selected page to the index view. Let's run the application and click the customers menu. Notice only 10 records are loaded out of the 14,000 plus records, and the performance also very good. Now we need to display the pager. For that we need to create the pager. So let's create a partial view and name it as _pager and save it in the shared folder inside the views folder as shown. I have copied the pager partial view from the CodeSimpleCrud and pasted to the _pager.cshtml partial view and change the product to customer, because in our CodeSimpleCrud application we were using the products table and product controller. Here we are using the customer table and customer controller. Again, this paging concept is explained clearly in my pagination video. Please watch it to understand. Video link is in the description. Now create the pager model and display the pager partial view in the top and bottom of the customer listing grid. Let's run the application again. Yes, now the pagers are displayed. That's great. Let's come out of the pager and concentrate on DBFirst approach, which is our main objective. Sometimes we could not avoid the deviations. Anyway, it is okay. We came back to the topic. Let's beautify the create new link by adding bootstrap classes to it. I have commented the links button which came up with the scaffolding task as shown in the red box, and added the beautiful links button with bootstrap classes as shown in the green box. Let's run the application and notice the link buttons. It is looking very nice after adding the bootstrap classes. Bootstrap is really making our job easier thanks to the tutor. I have created a CSS style to display the image inside a circle and named that CSS class as avatar. Then I have deleted the HTML display for photo URL and added the image tag for the photo URL. Notice I have also added the avatar for the image CSS class. Let's run our application. Wow, the index page is looking very nice now. Notice the customer photos inside this circle. This circle is appearing due to the avatar class which we applied to the photo URL image. Then we'll go to the customer controller and let's add the method to get the details of the selected customer by ID. This details method takes the ID parameter and fetches the particular customer and returns the customer model to the details view. Let's create the details view. Right click the customer folder and click add. Then select and click view. Then select razor view and click add. Give the view a name as details. Then select the template as details. Then after select the model class as customer. Then select the data context class as DBFirst CRUD context and click add. Now the details view is created. I want to beautify this details view. So I have wrapped up the first name and last name column inside a div. Then wrap the photo URL inside a div. Delete the photo URL calls and add an image tag to display the photo. Let's run the application and click the details link button randomly. Wow, the details page is looking very nice. We have done the database first approach. We listed the customer records and added the pager. Everything is working fine. So far so good. But what about migrations? Three important questions rise here. First, how to add new fields? In case if I need to add a column to store customer phone numbers, how to do that? Question number 2. How to maintain the database and models intact? I mean, how to synchronize the changes back to the models. Question number 3. How to add conditional client-side validations? Example, email validators, range validators, etc. These validators cannot be done at the table level. So, data annotations cannot add these to models by reading the table structure. No worries, we have two methods to maintain the database migration. Option 1. Adding the fields directly to the database using the SQL Server Management Studio or whatever tool you prefer. On this case, we need to scaffold the database again whenever we make the changes to the table. I am going to add a column to the customer table. So let's go to the design view of the customer table using SQL Server Management Studio. Let's add phone number column to the customer table and save it. Since there are already records exist in the database, we must choose allow nulls to the phone number column. Now go to the package manager console, type the same command Scaffold-DbContext with all the options which we used earlier like shown in the screen. Notice this time we added -f in the end of the command. It means this command will scaffold the tables and override the existing models and DBContext files forcefully. Okay, now the command is completed successfully. Let's open the customer model. Notice the phone number properties added to the model. I want to make this phone number as required field. So I have added required annotation to the head of the phone number property as shown. But what will happen if we scaffold the database again? Let's run the Scaffold-DbContext again with -f parameter. See, the required data annotation which we added to the phone number property got disappeared. So what is the way forward to add validations to the newly added properties? Let's see that in later. For now, we will create the edit method because too much of explanation will confuse. So let's see it practically. Let's add the required again to the phone number property. Let's add the edit command to the customer controller. The edit operation has two methods. One method has getVerb in the method head. In this method, first and foremost, we find the customer by the customer ID property and then we send the view with the customer model which we found for the editing to the edit.cshtml. The second edit method has the postVerb and it receives the customer model submitted by the web page form and attach the received customer model to the underscore context and change the model state to modified and then save the changes to the database. And then create the view for the edit operation. For that, right click the customer folder and then click add, then select view and then select razor view, then click add, then type edit in the view name text box, then select edit template, then select customer in the model class and then select DBFirst CRUD context in the database class, then click add. Now the edit view is scaffolded successfully. Let's run the application. Oops, we got an error. The error says data is null. It says the phone number is null for all the customers because it is a new field. We have not added the phone numbers yet. But in the model, we made the phone number as required property. Because of this, EFCore got confused and throwing an error. No worries, error comes to get fixed. Let's fix this error. To fix this error, in SQL Server Management Studio, I ran a SQL script to change phone number column to empty string from the null value as shown, and then let's run the application. Now the listing page is loading properly without any error. Let's click the edit button for first customer. Let's modify first name and last name and add the phone number, then save it. The customer record is modified successfully. Edit is working fine. The phone number column is not showing in the listing page because listing page was created before the addition of phone number column. So we need to manually add the phone number column to the listing page. I mean in the index.cshtml as shown. Let's run the application. Notice now the phone number column is also displayed in the listing page. Now the client side validator for phone number is also working, which we added after the scaffolding. Now we will create the methods for delete operation. The delete operation also requires two methods like edit operation. Open the customer controller, write the delete operation as shown. The first method is with the get verb. This method is exactly same like the edit get verb method. It fetches the selected customer from the table and return the customer to the delete.cshtml. The second method of the delete operation is with post verb. This method is very similar to the edit post verb method. It attaches the customer model which needs to be deleted to the underscore context and then changes the state of the model to deleted. Then calls the save changes method. Now we need to create the view for the delete operation. Right click the customer folder under views folder, then click add and then click view, then select Reza view, then click add. Give the view name as delete and then select the template as delete. Select the model class as customer, then click add and then run the application. Now click the delete button for any customer. Since delete method removes the record permanently from the database, it loads a confirmation page. If we click the delete button in the confirmation page also, then it deletes the customer. That's it. Now we have completed the delete operation also. So far we have seen read, update and delete operations from the CRUD. Only create is pending. Before going to the create operation, we will see the second option to maintain the database migrations in the database first approach. Option 2 is very important. Not only me, many developers prefer this approach. In here, we will convert this database first approach project to the code first approach method. Before that, we need to make our application ready for the conversion. For that, we need to do some changes. After that, we will do all the changes directly in the model and will update the changes to the database using the add migration and update database commands of code first approach. Let's see how to do this. Oh, I forgot, guys, you can please subscribe to my channel because your subscription, likes and shares gives boost to me and makes me to enjoy the video creation task. Okay, let's go back to the work. First and foremost, open the DBFirst CRUD context.cs and locate the onConfiguring method. Cut the database connection string. Then delete the onConfiguring method. We don't need this method anymore. Then open appsettings.json and store your connection string in the appsettings.json as shown. Then open the startup.cs and include the Microsoft.Entity Framework core in the using section as shown. Then locate the configure services method and add the options.sql server of configuration.get connection string of dbcon. This command will load the connection string from the appsettings.json. Now run the application and check all the functionalities. All the functions of CRUD is working fine. I know I have not done the create method yet. That we will do in few minutes. Now we are going to convert this application to CodeFirst approach. Watch carefully, it is very important. Go to the NuGet Package Manager console. Then type add migration space initial setup. This command will create the migration scripts to create the database and tables from the models. Now the important point here is, please listen carefully. Normally we run the update database after the add migration command, but if you run now you will get an error. Let's try running it. As expected, we get a bunch of errors. These errors say that tables for the models are already created in the database, so it was unable to complete the migration script. To fix this issue, we need to do a slight alteration in the script to make it complete. In fact, this is an hacky way. Now open the initial setup.cs script file and select the up method. This is the script responsible for creating the database and tables. Delete the selected content from the up method as shown. Make sure the up method is empty now. Let's run the script again. Wow, now the script has run successfully without any errors. So now our application is converted to CodeFirst. Hereafter, we should take forward this application in CodeFirst approach only and should avoid scaffolding the database again. Let's do our first CodeFirst migration. I want to add a column to store email address in our customer table. So I want to add email column to our customer table. Let's try. Open customer.cs and then add the email address column as string. Then add required attribute to the email property. Then add string length to 75 and add email data type validation as shown. Now run the add migration command with text as add email address. Then run the update database command. Both the commands ran successfully. Let's explore the database and make sure the email field is created in the customers table. Yes, the email column is added. Go to design view of the customer table. Notice that the email ID column does not allow nulls, but we were not able to do it for the phone number column when we did the changes in the database directly, because EFCore does the job better than us, at least better than me. So better leave the job to the experts. So I recommend to convert the database first approach projects to CodeFirst as shown. Then go to the edit.cs HTML and add the email field as displayed in the screen. Then run the application. Add email and phone numbers for some customer in the edit page and click save. Yes, it is saved. So CodeFirst migration is working fine in the database first approach also. We forgot to add the email column in the index.cs HTML. So open the index.cs HTML and add the email column by copying the phone column and pasting it below, and change the phone number to email ID as shown. Then run the application. Now the email ID is displaying perfect. Let's add the email ID to the first record. Let's try to save the record without email ID. It does not allow null because email ID is a required field. Great. So our client side email validation is also working fine. Then we enter the proper email ID and try saving it. Yes, it got saved now. We will create the create operation of the CRUD now. Create the view for the create operation. For that, select customer folder and right click the folder and then click add. Then select view and then select Reza view. Then click add. Then type create in the view name text box. Then select create template Select customer in the model class. Select DBFirst CRUD context in the data context class. Then click add. Now the create operation view is scaffolded successfully. In the view, select the div of the customer ID and comment it as shown. We don't want user to enter the customer ID. We will create the customer ID sequentially in the controller method. Open the customer controller. I have added the create methods. Like edit, create operation also has two methods. One is of type get and other one is post. The get create method is so simple. It creates empty customer model object and send it to the create view. The post create method requires explanation. Here we are creating a new customer ID for the new customer. To do that, first we retrieve the last customer number from the database using the max function. Then separating the numeric part from the retrieved customer ID. And then increasing the numeric part by 1. Then adding CS prefix to the numeric part to form the customer ID. Then we set the customer ID for the retrieved customer model and attaching it to the context. Then saving the customer to the database by calling the save changes method of the context. Let's run the application and click create menu. Enter the details for the new customer. Now the customer is created. The created new customer will be at the last page. So let's go to the last page and check. We can see the created customer. The new customer is nobody else than me. Okay, now we have seen all the operation of the CRUD using database first approach. That's it in this video. With this, I am completing this video. Before I sign off, I request you to subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate if you'd like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. Thank you and bye for now.